how do you prepare for a European Championship in terms of IMRA races? Because obviously you're in Carlow, you're nestled between a few hills down there. How is it that you prepare for it? What kind of, because when we talk about marathons, people talk about times, they talk about distances, kilometers per week, hours on the feet. How is it different when it comes to IMRA races? Particularly, I know you said it's the fun masters, but it's still a European Championship, so you have to perform to be there. So how is the preparation for something like that?
I suppose you just try and do a little bit more stuff on trail or in the mountains or that. But I don't know. Maybe the guys that are really serious about it concentrate more on the specific kind of mountain training. Whereas I suppose definitely doing Emmet's plan for the last couple of months, a lot of that would be kind of on road and on track, and he's kind of trying to improve running performance as such rather than specifically mountain running performance. So again, I get a lot of my advice on running from Barry, and he would have just said to me, look, all really good running training, he says, will serve you no matter what the discipline is. So get the good, decent running training into you again, do your lactate and aerobic threshold stuff properly and your easy stuff properly. And whether you're doing that on trails or on the road or on the track, you'll find your performance over all disciplines kind of improving really as such. But I would have liked to try and get a lot of my easy runs more so than my real strong stuff just in the Wicklow Mountains maybe or that, or trying to do that bit of easy stuff on trail where you're less likely to get injured, I suppose, as well too. Do you know, if you're training every day on the mountains, you are running that risk of getting injured that you probably wouldn't be on the road or on the track. So you're trying to be a little bit clever about it, but at the same time get those miles in and get the inclines in that you need, I suppose, to be able to perform at those events.
Emma, when you're looking at obviously a career now at a desk with some running sprinkled in, headspace and trail running, because you said easy run in the mountains. Nothing about that sounds easy to road runners. But obviously when you
No,
take on it, obviously when you take
sorry.
on a trail, it could be, it could be a 10K trail, it could have incline. People know, I'm going on an easy run. They're like, oh, it's an hour or it's a 2 hour. I'll be back. I'll be showered. I'll be in the shop at this time. When you take on a trail, it's you and the trail, probably no phone signal. What does mountain running, easy running in the hills do for you on that side of things?
I suppose it just freshens you right up. Like, I mean, when you're going off doing an easy trail like that, you need to concentrate where you're putting your feet. So it's not the type of one where you go out and you listen to a podcast. You leave the earphones behind you and you just go out and you enjoy the run. And because I suppose the landscape is so varied and that you're constantly thinking, as I said, about where you're putting your feet or how you're going to get up, down, or whether you turn left, right, or whatever, it mightn't necessarily be the most easy trail to navigate as such. So I kind of find the time flies by, whereas when you're on the road, if you were to go out and do, a long run, an hour and 20, an hour and a half, whatever, I find that you need the podcast to keep you motivated, keep you going, or give someone a call, or whatever the case may be. You listen to a bit of music, you'd need that bit of stimulation. But I find in the trails, no matter how long you're up there or up in the mountains, time just seems to fly by and you're never really bored. So it's good. It's a good place to get the head cleared, I find, actually, in fairness.
Going back to what you said with the trail stuff, the downhill part. I've done a few kind of trail runs and stuff, and I'm not too bad going. Well, march up, and I'm okay in the flat, but going down, I am baby steps. Watch where I'm going, sliding every which way, like, and cause you're competing and winning some of these things. Is it literally just switch off, hope for the best, step by step, or like what if anything goes through your head flying down these hills?
I don't know. I suppose I probably learned the hard way, as I said, in Ballyhour the first time when I came down, because I had never really thought about running downhill. I didn't think it was going to be that difficult until I pulled myself out of a puddle with two slit knees. So yeah, I kind of, I suppose, learned the first day that you have to be a little bit careful, but at the same time, it's grand to be careful if you're a couple of minutes ahead of the guy who's chasing you down. You can afford to, take a couple of those baby steps. But like, I remember chasing a lad earlier this year in Dublin, like, and he was just winging down the mountain. I was just thinking, please slow down, or the two of us are going to get killed. But there's something exhilarating about that too, Like, I mean, and I found out afterwards, Garrett Davis was his name, and Jesus, man, I said, you were winging down there. And he's like, yeah, yeah. I said, what do you do? And he said, oh, I used to be, a big mountain bike rider or whatever. And I was thinking, Jesus, no wonder you're such a bloody lunatic. You know what I mean? So um, it takes a certain type, I suppose, is what I found really that day. But No, look, nobody wants to fall and get themselves hopped. I mean, like, I don't think anyone is that messed up in the head, but at the same time, you weigh up the glory of kind of winning against the potential hazards of getting yourself a bad hopper. And I suppose, depending on how hungry you are for the particular event that day, you'll push yourself maybe over
I
the limit
just,
sometimes. But
I do just want to
and
finish,
it's
so I'm not that hungry at all for it.
it's nice to come down to a couple of grazes and that and look a little hardy and parade around afterwards and say I beat the mountain.
And the second part of that question was doing a few of those. I always find the toll it takes on my body, especially front of my legs, the quads afterwards, is so much more going downhill. Just that impact, bang, bang, bang. Are you the same, or is it just it's all the same to you how you feel afterwards?
No, definitely like my hips as well, I found as well, like they just get hammered a little bit now. So definitely would have to like when I was a bit younger, like I used to never do any stretch and any of that kind of stuff. But I suppose 35 now, as well as doing the mountain stuff, don't get away with that anymore. So I found had to stretch out the hips and quads and all those kind of things a lot more, especially with the mountain running, definitely 100%. Calves mainly with the road seem to get a little bit tight with me in the Achilles, but definitely hips and quads with the mountains. So I like to think when I'm doing all the different things that they're all equally getting hammered, and hopefully nothing is going to get either nothing or everything will get injured.
And do you do anything for that outside of running in terms of strength training, yoga, Pilates, that kind of thing? Or you're just, I mean, like we read from the intro, you've got so much going on. Do you even have time to do anything else?
I'd like to have a bit more time to probably give to the sports Pilates that actually Owen Everard would offer. I definitely going to try and get into something like that, especially as I'm getting older, because I can see 100% you can see the benefits of it really, and just trying to stretch a little bit more. I usually do 20 minutes kind of a hit exercise or a stretch in the mornings or whatever, but I definitely could see the benefits to doing a little bit more of that. But you're always inclined to do an extra 20 minutes of a run than a 20-minute stretch, aren't you? Like, I think everyone is in that
Absolutely.
boat, really, aren't they? But you,
Yeah.
you learn the hard way.
And wait till the new baby arrives. It's getting permission is going to be harder than doing the exercises. If you won't be
I've
tacking
actually,
on any 20 minutes anywhere.
I'm in the market for a running buggy. If anyone knows one going cheap on Dundee, or actually, I'd say that there. So I think that's the only way I'm going to get out.
If we can facilitate this deal, we have changed the direction of this podcast. Indefinitely.